Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
Brutal loss for the Orange today. Dumping that one to Hofstra. I mean, there's thoughts aplenty. Syracuse played like crap. The officials were even worse. And the Orange did more than cancel out the Tennessee win today. Hofstra's perfectly fine. Whatever. Now they've beaten Pitt and Cuse. They'll throw a party this weekend. But this was just a loss you absolutely could not afford to have here today for Syracuse. I mean, Hofstra had just a ridiculous day shooting for three. They made 12 of 18. Like, a lot went right for Hofstra today. But you cannot lose that game in your own building if you are Syracuse. You just can't lose that game if you want to be a tournament team. Those are games you win if you want to go to the tournament. And I know some people are saying, oh, the season's over now. There's no way they can make it. Yeah, of course there's still a way they can make it. It's freaking December 13th. Nothing is over at this point. But that is not the kind of game that Syracuse can and should be losing if they want to have a chance to be playing basketball into the middle of March this year. I mean, we'll get into the refs. Oh, we'll bash the refs. Those refs were crap from minute 1 to minute 40 tonight, and just all around. I mean, I need more fingers than I got to come up with all of the bad calls they made or did not make, including the last non-foul that would have sent Kyan Anthony to the line. Now, realistically, Syracuse at the line, even in a one-point game, you're puking in a bucket somewhere. And the best the Orange probably would have done there, even with Kyan, is 1 for 2 in overtime, just because they can't shoot as a team. But oh man, this is just a mess of a Saturday. Now you have a bad loss, and it's tough. I think Hofstra is decent. They're 8-4. They've beaten Pitt, who may not be good this year. They've beaten Syracuse, who we still don't know what Syracuse is right now. I think they've got some losses that are like, all right, they're probably not that great. Cruz Davis is clearly really, really good. He's a talented player. He would fit in on ACC ball clubs. The assist he had on what was the game-winning basket was fantastic, after I thought Sadiq White really had D'd him up very, very well that possession. But this is one that could bite you in the butt for the entire rest of the season. This could bite you for the entire rest of the season. Like, you have a quad 1 win probably with Tennessee, great, whoop-de-doo, but now you have a quad 3 out of conference, a loss, and it's just not stuff that you should have on your resume if you're going to be a bubble type team, which is really enough. And to LA Orange, to your point, this is where there is no grace because of the recent years, right? For all of you in the fan base, like the grace period is over. And I don't mean, I'm not saying fire red or whatever, but this is years now. Wherever it started for you in your mind, the last few years of Boeheim, the last couple of years, like in other years, a loss like this could have happened, and we all just kind of move on and say, wow, that was a terrible day. And, you know, they'll figure it out, they'll win their games. But it's just there's been so much of it. There's so much of it. 07 lost to Bucknell. Yeah, losses like this hurt you. Losses like this hurt you. Short term, they hurt you. Long term, I mean, it's the whole thing. And you look at the game, there's a lot of numbers here. Like, Syracuse has 5 scores in double figures. That's what you do if you want to win the game. Syracuse did a lot of things you do if you want to win the game. Syracuse was getting crushed on the glass early. They ended up +7 on the boards. Okay. I thought William Kyle, especially down the stretch, was once again fantastic. Even if his numbers weren't quite as impressive as the other night. He ends up with 13 points and 6 rebounds. Sadiq White was impressive, maddening, all of the stuff. Man. And the tech is where the game changed, right? Syracuse it felt like they were about to maybe drop the hammer. Whatever that was. A few minutes into the second half, they were on a little bit of a run. You get the big-to-big alley-oop. It's Kyle to Sadiq. It's a fantastic play that the Orange finally are once again capable of plays like this. Sadiq drops the hammer. Yeah, he's jawing with the guy up the court. Like, for one, like, we don't know what he said. Maybe the ref hurt. Maybe he went to some magic words that you can't say. I don't know. But just the overall look at it, yeah, it went on a bit long, but for real, we're giving a tech on that one. Refs who sucked all day. And it's a 19-5 run after that completely changes the game. Credit to Syracuse for getting back in the game. No credit to Syracuse for having a clue what to do against the zone defense. Just absolute nothing against a zone. For a while, Syracuse was doing against the zone exactly what Jim Boeheim hoped people would do against the zone for years. So that was chuck just early shot clock threes. Exactly what Jim Boeheim wanted to do against the zone. Now, they got the press going. They got some tempo. They got it turned around late. You look at the last play of the game, essentially. Yeah, Cayenne should be at the line right now shooting free throws, either to put Syracuse up one or tie the game and send it to overtime. Just an unbelievable non-call down the stretch by the refs. Like, completely, swallow the whistle, get out of Dodge. Devo was joking, but yeah, those refs probably need a little security out of the building after this one today. But it's just brutal. Absolutely brutal loss, given all of the recent context. Given the Tennessee win. Given, scraping by the skin of your teeth against St. Joe's the other night. And they're like, all right, well, if you go get Hofstra, then reel off the rest of these, you're in decent shape heading into conference play. And now you're backed into a corner yet again. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. And you guys mentioned Donnie Freeman. Donnie Freeman remains, when he's been on the court, he's been Syracuse's best player this season. Plus, he also, if he was playing or healthy, and again, we have no idea what the deal is with Donnie. It would just be nice to have some information. Donnie in a game like this against a zone would be exactly where you need to be against a freaking zone, camped out at the high post, being able to shoot it from there, drive it from there, make a decision from there, and do the stuff you need to do against the zone. You would have been able to counter their counter with your best freaking player. And now you don't even have that. Oh, man. Yeah, should have beaten Houston. Donnie, I don't know. I don't know what Donnie's deal is. Last year he had a broken foot or something. I don't know what's going on this year. I feel bad. If the kid's actually hurt, injured, I don't know what happened. Nobody's told us a thing. It would be nice to know. Okay. Yeah, JJ's got the G-Wagon. JJ had a great first few minutes to the game today. How many points did JJ end up with? 15. JJ had 12 points in the opening 10 minutes. It was even less than that. Then he had a free throw late in the first half, and he had 2 points in the second half. Yeah. Thought Nate Kings was solid again, but it's just that is a rough loss. All right, link is pinned top of the chat. If you'd like to join the show. Oh, we got people lined up here. Let me just make sure that Red's not. We're gonna have to keep an eye on the whole Red post-game press conference thing, because for sure we ain't missing that here today. But we don't want to make people wait here, because I imagine people got some thoughts after this one. There are thoughts that need to be had after this one. So let's just make sure Red is not imminent, and if not, we will get to the calls. But again, link is pinned top of the chat if you would like to join in here today. All right, let's start as we often do here on Postgame with our guy Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Rough one today. You got me, Anthony? Does Anthony have me? It does not.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Anthony, you're on, man. What's up?
Yeah, Brian. I seen this coming. We all should have seen this coming. All we've been talking about is good defense and bad offense. They don't have an offensive game plan. They didn't have an offensive game plan. If Autry can't fix this offense with all that talent he has, I only got 3 words.
Those were no words, Anthony.
He's got to go.
Okay. I had a guess of what they were going to be, but I was intrigued how you were going to phrase it.
No, but if he can't fix this offense, we've been watching the last few games. They've barely been winning. Did you see Hofstra's offensive flow?
Yeah, look great.
Yeah, where's ours? Every shot we take is extremely hard shot, and then get it. We shooting the three. There's no offensive game. Autry has to do something. Good coaches have an offensive game plan against the zone.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we've been saying, and the same thing, Anthony, we've been saying that in games not against the zone. Zone not against the zone, that has been a constant question here. I mean, for 3 seasons for one, but certainly this year, and it's rough, right? Like, they didn't make a change against the zone, it felt like the entire second half.
Hell, we should have went zone.
I don't know. They were bombing from 3. They probably would have picked it apart.
I don't really have much to say. It's just that the offense stinks and Autry's not doing anything about it. Yeah. The defense is great. We can survive against the defense against certain teams, but when we come up against those good teams that have both good offense, if you don't have a game plan, man, we're going to be losing a lot of games.
Yeah, that's what stinks with Kyle and what he's doing back there. This is the best defense they've had in years. I mean, in years.
Where's the X's and O's? He doesn't talk about I'm going to try to set screens. You never hear him talking about that. Well, maybe I will next time. We'll try to get our shooters open. Doesn't even realize this is what we got to do. I don't know, man. That's all I got to say is if he can't fix it, 3 words.
Your 3 words are still silent there, but yeah, red must go.
No, I got my hat on backwards and my shirt on backwards too.
Okay. Oh, you're going backwards and inside out. I like it, Anthony. The protest is strong. All right, man. Always good to hear from you. There's our guy Anthony checking in to begin the show. No red as of yet, so we'll try to keep it moving throughout the calls. Let's see, who do we got coming up here? Next, we've got is this our guy James who's hanging out here next, or as his name says on the thing, Dr. Opal Windfinger. I don't know if that is on the birth certificate, but what's up, man?
Hey, Brian, always good to talk to you, man. I mean, I like that you're getting used to me. First of all, I want to say I thought you did an excellent job, just very concisely breaking down the issues in this game, particularly from an X's and O's and sort of a in-game adjustment standpoint for the Orange in particular. I thought you did a great job, so I wanted to give you kudos there.
Thank you.
But I mean, I've called before. I called last year during I think it might have been after the Florida State game where they had like a 15-point lead, and then Florida State went on, I want to say, a 35-0 run and wound up beating them, blowing them out in the second half. And what I said to you then was, he doesn't have an offense. And, I brought up an example, I think it might have been of Drexel when they had that really potent, motion offense. And they didn't have, they talk about X's and O's versus Jimmy and Joe's. They didn't have, Jimmy's or Joe's. They had that insane center who could shoot threes that got drafted by the Knicks. But, I mean, their motion offense was just effective. And one other point I wanted to make was, you would think of all coaches, Autry would have some damn idea of how to break down a 2-3, right? I mean, of any coach, like he should know the zone, inside and out. But this is another example of a failure to adjust in game. I don't think that he has an answer offensively, Brian. Do you? Because I think we would have seen it by now.
No, and realistically, we haven't seen that in 3 years. Like most of his talk
Correct.
has been about defense, and to Red's credit, because I know he's going to get a lot of crap today, we're finally seeing this year what he said he wanted on defense, and frankly, it's working. So I will give him credit for that. But no, we have not seen, the first year, it worked a little bit because you had Judah, right? You had an NBA-ish guy that could just go get buckets. You haven't had that since, and there's no off-ball movement, and I don't even say it's against the zone. Like, we've been bitching about the same thing against man. The whole thing. It's both.
Absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't have an offense, and you're absolutely right. The zone. I mean, what was frustrating today was just you use up your timeouts early in the second half. Are on none of them are you discussing the fact that on a 2-3 against a 2-3 zone with a team that shoots in the mid-20s from 3, mid-20%, probably don't want to be shooting threes early in the shot clock, especially when you can't rebound for shit. Yeah. But that's just that's one thing. The lack of an offense is another. But I thought one thing interesting defensively, Brian, was when it came to shutting down their main threat. I thought today they did fail at that, and it's something where I would see sometimes 3 guys on Cruz, and and that was when that's why he was able to dish out 10 assists. So I thought the defense today was a bit less effective than it has been. I think Kyle erases a lot of issues, particularly when, the switching is still not perfect, but it's better this year. You got a lot, I think, of top flight athletes on this team. But I didn't think the defense today was as good as it has been, but I do think overall it has been better. I just think this is a coaching thing. When you don't have an offense, I mean, maybe he needs to ask Gemini or something. I don't know, Brian, but because I think the seat's going to remain really hot for Red, and being close this year, but not good enough is I don't think going to be enough to keep him in the green, so to speak. I think yes, they're more competitive. That's still not good enough, especially because this year they have the Joes and the Jimmies.
Yeah,
in my estimation.
We know that's obviously not the standard around here for many, 4 decades. I mean, four and a half decades with Jim Boeheim. And, because I find it funny, too, like we've talked a lot about Red's offense. People then lump it in. Oh, he's running the same Boeheim offense. They don't do anything. No, they're not, for one. Like, they're not running the same place. And for two, like, part of the reason I think Jim had a very simple offense is because he had full faith in himself to make those tweaks in game. Like, that is what Jim was very, very good at. What was just little tweaks in game that usually were really effective. And unfortunately, we just haven't seen it for Red. I think one of the tweaks on defense, maybe that I think might have been accidental, because they had Kings on Cruz Davis most of the game, that he got literally elbowed in the face by Sadiq White. Sadiq guards him on like the last possession there and actually stopped him. Then it's just an unbelievable pass he threw to the corner. It's those things where you're like, man, these guys have. You see defense like that from a freshman, even though it technically didn't work. You're like, wow. And then
I would have had him on him the whole game, though, because I think Kings is a decent defender. I've been very disappointed, by the way. Just a quick sidebar. I've been very, very disappointed with George, particularly from a ball security standpoint. I mean, but he also just never looks like he's running full speed, does he? No. But I think defensively, he's nothing to write home about. So I would have had Sadiq on him, as long as he could stay in the game without getting teed up. But the other thing with Boeheim's offense was, that's a good point you make, but the 2-3, because it was so aggressive, I thought that it was able to generate a lot of transition offense, and that's another thing that they're not able to do, because I mean, they're not even getting when they are getting stops, they're not getting out in transition. But it's frustrating, man. As you can see, I still watch every game, football and basketball. It's getting rougher, but thank you for everything you do. But like I said, awesome job breaking it down today, man. And I don't want to take up any more of your time, but we'll hopefully be speaking to you after dub.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be good. All right, James, thanks, man. There we go. Let's get. Let me just take a quick look at the press conference room. I see the press conference room now, but nothing is happening in it yet. So we can get another call in here. Again, link is pinned top of the chat if you would like to. If you would like to join in the show, as Anthony and James have done so far. We got Govendo hanging out here, waiting to tag in once I hit the proper buttons. There we go. What's up, Matty?
We had a 15-point swing today. We were up by 10 points and down by 7.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
It was right after Sadiq's tech too. They had a
still trying to process the game,
it was
right?
A 19-4 run. How long did it take? I'd have to go back and look to see how long it actually took. Didn't feel like long, Matt. Like you get the Kyle to Sadiq alley-oop, whole building's going crazy. Sadiq's jawing with him up the court, gets banged with the tee, and it turned the whole game. Like that was the run. It was 19-4 after that. I think it was the next 4 or 5, maybe 5-6 minutes, something like that. But that was clearly the defining portion of the game.
Free throws, obviously disgusting.
Yep.
Refs, even more disgusting.
They were bad.
Like the pass, I don't think it touched anybody. So. But he's looking at him. He's like, "Did you see it? I don't know."
On the replay,
at the other guy,
like the replay, there was no way to overturn it. But the ref standing right there didn't make a call. He just did that.
I didn't see anybody touch it. You didn't see anybody touch it. That means probably nobody touched it. That means that guy threw it out of bounds. So what are we doing?
Yeah. Like, I honestly thought maybe JJ got a finger on it. There was no way to look at the replay and overturn it. But, like, the ref that made the call couldn't have possibly seen it either. Like, the guy that was standing right there was just, And then somebody has to make a call, so the guy, like, literally, who would have had 4 people between him and the play ends up making the call because the guy standing right there refused to make a call.
It wasn't very promising either when we saw the last play of the game. They threw the ball in. William Kyle had the ball beyond the 3-point line, trying to give it to somebody else. Cayenne being one of them.
Yeah, somebody
and
get it.
Like, we're not aggressive enough.
No,
we're not fast enough. We're not, you know what I mean? It's I don't know. And I called into the other station, and I said, "Hey, are we worried about this game?" And like, no. Look,
yeah.
I was worried.
I was worried because
I knew we had a problem.
Yeah, because you know, especially Govendo, after watching Thursday night, like, and we all knew Hofstra is better than St. Joe's, so like you couldn't watch Thursday and then not be at least a little worried. My hope was that Syracuse, you know, would have woken up a little bit from Thursday and been a little crisper. Then JJ came out hot, and I'm like, all right, maybe they're playing today. And then you have the little run to start the second half. I thought they were going to put it away, and no, the answer was no.
It's bothersome, and I don't know if we're going to be able to compete with this ACC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a much better ACC this year.
I mean, North Carolina State's got Kansas at the half right now.
Do they? I've been half
they're tied.
Attention to
yeah, they're tied.
Yeah, like they're solid. Yeah, I know all Syracuse fans wish their head coach was here. We've been around that block, but yeah, they got Quadir, and go figure. Chris Bell's playing really well for Cal right now. But yeah, you look at the league. The league is solid this year, and basically, if you're Syracuse, if you play like that in the league. Like, this is not, if you play like you played today and you played on Thursday, then you're not going to have to worry about the bubble. Like, this is not going to be a loss that keeps you out of the tournament. You'll lose plenty enough to not be in that scenario come March.
And it's obvious that Donnie would be very, very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's the other thing, and I feel we're not giving this enough credit, right? They're missing their best player. They are missing their best player, which is huge. Like, Donnie's playing really well, and then he gets hurt.
If he's out, let's say for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I hope he's not. But let's say he is. I would rather see him out for the next 2 weeks than rush him back and get injured and then not see him again for the year, because we have to get him healthy.
Right. Well, at this point, and again, they haven't said word one about what's going on with him other than it's a lower body thing, and obviously we all saw the walking boot from a few weeks ago. But at this point, like, if you're thinking big picture, all right, you lost these games. Your hope is you get him back at some point and you start playing a lot better. And then if you can get under the bubble somehow, you're like, yeah, we lost these games without our best player, and you hope that you beg mercy out of it. But that is, you know, now we're into far-fetched scenarios. But yeah, Donnie tonight would have played exactly in the spot on the court where Syracuse was completely lacking in what they needed to do in this ballgame.
Yeah, we needed him there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
Good to see you. All right, well, good. There's our guy, Govendo. We're waiting on the Red Autry post-game press conference at the moment. I have eyes on here. We can all look at this this room together. Here's a room of people waiting to ask Red Autry questions. I don't know what the deal. Like, what's the deal with Donnie? Like, is he hurt? Is he not hurt? Like, I don't know what's the deal. You'd like to have your best player in there. You've been playing really well. Oh man, yeah. Freeman formula for Donnie Freeman. Yeah, Donnie's Achilles is Red's Achilles. I mean, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. Like, nobody has said a thing about Donnie Freeman. I don't know what's going on with him. No, you don't know what's going on with him. Link's been top of the chat if anybody else would like to join there, and we can. Donnie McCullough. No, Chris McCullough played well, and then tore his knee, and then he left. Like, Chris was just starting to play well, and then I just chucked my remote across the room by accident. Donnie Westry, perhaps more like it. Do they have pitchforks and torches in the presser? Let's see. Unfortunately, here, where's let's take a look. Do we see Waters and Donna? I think are on the other side of the room. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see Mike or Donna or Brent. This is more the student view. I think we're looking at here. I don't see any pitchforks at the moment. Torches probably not allowed in the dome. Maybe unlit torches. I don't know. Just. Yeah, Pitt's not good either. Like, I get Hofstra beat Pitt. Pitt is looking like they have their worst team in a minute here. But this was a game here. Like, once you beat Tennessee and sort of got things back on the rails, then it was like, all right, you got 5. If you can win these 5 and get Donnie back and get ready for the ACC, you got a shot. Well, he's going to say level 5, Fellafurter. Can you sneak in Rotten Tomatoes? It's just, you had to win these 5 and get Donnie back, and then you got a shot. Like, all right, then you got a shot to go play in the ACC. Like, Sadiq White's getting better. You assume Cayenne's going to get better. Like, there was a route through it. You're saying Red is on? How is Red on? Where's Red? Am I not live? Oh, wait, there's Red. I fell behind live. Hang on. Here's Red. Red Autry. Here we go. Let's get him talking.
Today's game was a hard-fought game. The things that we talked about and prepared for, we just didn't do those things and execute those things at the level that needed to be executed at. There were no surprises. There was nothing that we were not prepared for except our effort, our attention to detail, and just not executing what we talked about. I'm very disappointed in that, and I'm very disappointed in myself and our staff not being able to get the job done in those regards. Hofstra's a good team. Obviously, they've went and beat some other teams, and at our level, they've had close games with every Power 4 team that they've played against this year. But for me, I'm just so
sick of it.
Just disappointed in the level 5 effort and attention to detail, and being able to get that across to our guys for them to understand what was going on.
Level
Questions?
5.
The attention to detail. What was missed there? What didn't you see that you needed to?
We don't help out on the ball side.
That's it.
We have certain things that we were going to do, we just didn't execute. Right. You play against the zone, you look down, you get the ball inside. We didn't do that.
Coach, what's your message to the fan base and why they should still believe in you and your team?
Because we're a good team. We're a good team, and we will be a good team. We will be a good team.
When?
We are a good team. We will be a good team. And we'll address what needs to be addressed and move forward and get better. I would love to think that we was going undefeated the rest of the season, but we all know that was not going to happen. But we will learn from this. I promise you we'll learn from this and get better.
Why didn't you learn during the game what to do against the zone?
I don't know if he's still sick or what are you getting out of him, what you need to get out of him?
I think it's tough when you try to come into a new system and play with the schedule that we've had early, to try to learn things, in the ring on the fly. I'm not worrying about Nate. He'll get it together. We will get it together. Today, I just went with, JJ and Cayenne.
I'm worried about Nate. He's not played
No,
well.
I just went with. I thought they had a better flow of the game.
Was Nate George here?
Last possession, it ended up with Cayenne driving to the basket.
Well, typically we try to get it in and get a handoff going downhill for the point guard. I guess they did a good job of not letting him get it, but Cayenne got it, ripped to the basket, made a move that's what we were supposed to do. The result wasn't what we would have liked it to be.
Quick, blame the refs. Terrible non-call.
Kind of rotating him in and out. Just what your decision making was with Nate Higgins.
Well, we need Nate to shoot the ball, and we needed him to shoot it a lot. And I thought it was a couple of times, that he didn't get open, or he kind of, didn't make himself open. And when he had it, he has to take those shots. He's a guy that shoots lights out. So we got to do a better job of getting him the ball. But that was it with Nate. I thought, again, we got to get him more shots and better shots, and he has to be able to take some shots.
Do you want to run any plays for him? That might help getting him shots.
Look, I think he might have got a couple of stitches in his mouth. I think he someone hit him with an elbow or a loose ball or something he was going for. So I'm not 100% sure what happened, but
Sadiq
I
elbowed him in the
think
face.
I seen him and he got a couple of stitches.
I'm curious down the stretch when you're going to use your challenge? I mean, you obviously had to use it on that play, but like, do people tell you, on the bench, do you quickly look at the iPad? Like, how do you determine which is the play that your players tell you? I'm curious about the whole scenario of that.
Well, that in particular, that scenario, I seen it. So that was an easy challenge. I seen that. I didn't need to go. But typically, if it's something that's, that we feel we have someone assigned to that, Chris Thomas, he's assigned to that, and he'll, him and Pete Corsiniti, they'll tell me to challenge it or not. But in that particular play, I seen what happened.
Players have any say in it?
No, me and my coaches.
How much did that hurt? Obviously, it's going to hurt because you lose your challenge there, plus the timeout, and then the Cayenne drive to the basket might have been a play you could have challenged.
Can't challenge calls. Can't challenge calls.
Can't challenge the not getting
No,
obvious foul.
What did you see from Cayenne? Because he certainly had your trust down the stretch, had the ball in his hands a lot.
I thought Cayenne got in there. I thought he was aggressive. I thought, when we got him the ball, he made the right plays. He's very good at attacking the rim. I thought he did that. I thought he got in there and made some plays, and that was the reason. We put him in certain places. We tried to get him the ball in certain places, and when we got it there, he executed what we needed him to do. I thought Sadiq, when we got the ball into where we needed to get to, we made the plays, but for some reason we just couldn't get the ball in there.
Yeah, needed to throw it there literally every possession against the zone.
Just how can your staff and I guess the rest of the players kind of help him through some of the struggles he's going through right now?
We just got to keep working. I mean, we got to keep working. I think the biggest thing is, our defense, wasn't, we didn't pay attention to the guys that we knew could make shots, right? That was the biggest thing, and we let that go. I mean, they made 12 threes. We haven't given them 12 threes all year, so that was disappointing. And some of the guards that came into the game, that came off the bench, we knew that that's what they did, and we just didn't get out to them. That's what we need to fix. We need to fix that.
Red, how do you feel that technical on Sadiq kind of changed how the flow of the game was going?
Yeah, I mean, we had a chance to go up a little bit. I think that definitely kind of shifted the momentum, but it was still early enough for us to kind of go. But it definitely shifted the momentum a little bit. But those things happen. I don't know what was said or what happened or why they gave it to him. But typically they give warnings. So I don't know what happened on that, but yeah, that happened, and I think that was I think it was a 5-point. It wound up being a 5-point swing, I believe, or something like that.
15-point swing. It started a 19-4 run.
Impacted the swing.
What did you see from Cruz Davis throughout the evening that made him so successful?
He's really good.
He's a guy that if he's not getting 35 himself, he's generating that much. A guy that can. We hadn't played against a guy that with that type of speed, especially for our bigs. He did a really good job of stringing us out and being a good passer. And I mean, he made shot after shot. I mean, he made some tough ones. He had a couple of easy ones, but not many. He's a big time player, and he's been playing like that the whole non-conference.
CJ had 12 points to start the game. What do you need to see out of him to keep that production up throughout the whole game?
He just needs to keep being aggressive. He's a guy that can get going. We need him to be aggressive. I thought in the second half, he wasn't as aggressive as we need him to be, and as he needs to be, especially when we get some stops. In transition, he's a guy that's a jet. He can push it up, and I thought we just didn't take advantage of those opportunities when we did get a couple of stops before they shut up the defense. That's what we would like to do, and that didn't happen today.
Greg, you guys had a 23 three-point attempts. Was that something that was kind of a game plan going into today, or
no? They failed in their game plan against the zone.
You had 23 three-point attempts today. You only made 8 of them. Was that kind of a game plan moving forward? Into
Clearly
this game,
not.
or is that something that you want to adjust kind of moving forward?
No, I thought that was a straight direct of us not driving and moving the ball, and especially when they went zone most of the second half, we took some shots from there, and that's what that's what the zone is designed to do. We tried to get some inside penetration, to get some driving kicks and try to, break the zone. But, the 23 threes was just, again, we got the right guys shooting them. Nate Kings and Tyler Betsy, those guys can really shoot them. And JJ got going early, and Kai took 1 or 2. So, again, it's not about the attempts; it's about getting the right guys to get the shots for those guys to take those shots.
Because the ball needed to go to the high post.
Not making their threes, like there's
It didn't.
a certain look that they should be looking for, around the arc.
Yeah, I mean, we like to try to
Open
generate
one.
stuff on driving kicks, but I think we try to stay away from contested threes. Those are tough. Nate Kings is a movement shooter, so some of his may look contested, but he's a movement shooter, an elite shooter, so and he can make those. So he'll take a couple of those. Everyone else, is more of a catch a shooter, drive it, and drive and kick.
If he's a move and release shooter, why aren't we running him off any movement to get the ball and then release it? Like, run him off a freaking screen.
Questionable officiating calls at the end of this game.
I wish I could answer that question, but I'm not. But, we have to take accountability, and I'm going to take accountability of some of the things that we could have controlled and we should have controlled. So that's on me. It's part of the game.
Crush
it's
the
unfortunate.
refs,
We've been in a couple of those this year, and we just came out on the wrong end of them. But it's part of the game, and we have to be able to be accountable for the things that we can control, and which is our effort, our attention to detail, and it wasn't really more about effort. It was really more about attention to detail this game. Our attention to detail, knowing who the guys that can make shots are, the guys that were drivers. I didn't think we did a good job of getting to those guys, and those guys got loose, and that hurt us. Our closeouts have to be better.
Level 5 effort. Level 1 attention to detail. There he goes. Yeah, I mean, the refs were terrible today. But to Red's point, that Syracuse should not have put themselves in the position to get screwed over as they did. The refs were atrocious. I mean, the non-charge on Kyle, the non-call on Anthony at the end. I would have loved to hear more of an explanation of what Sadiq did. We saw him jawing, but that's one where, and this is, Red's new, but he's not. In years past, because Red said, I don't know what he said. In years past, now this wouldn't have changed the call or anything that happened. I'm not saying Boeheim would have scared them off from calling a tech, but in years past, one of the refs would have come back down the court and told Boeheim what happened, and then usually in those cases, Boeheim would go from like pissed off at the refs for making the call, and if they told him something, he'd just like nod and be like, "Oh, all right," and then he'd go be pissed off at the player. So we'll see how stuff like that goes. But would it have changed the game? No. But the refs are just absolutely terrible today. But if you're Syracuse, don't give up a 19-4 run because the refs made a tech call. How about that? Like, don't give up a run like that. Don't let them back in the game when, like, after that dunk when the tech happened, you had your foot on the neck and you had a chance to put the game away. And then you didn't. Okay, we're gonna do something here. Again, link pinned top of the chat. If you'd like to join the show, we're gonna bring in Rick the Truth and see how this goes. What's up, Rick? How you doing?
Hey, good evening.
You're on.
I think the refs are out of town by now, and they just left Rome in ruins. You know what I mean? So therefore, next time we get some bad calls like that, I don't think we should let the refs out of the dome. I think each fan should spit on all the refs this time. Yeah, no, I'm serious, because how you gonna? And another thing is, Keon Anthony is obviously a target. So whoever goes against us, they're playing in front of Lala. They're playing in front of Carmelo. They're playing in front of Keon. So everybody's. Keon is a moving target. Everybody's hungry to get him, So I think we need to be more stealth about when we use Keon. And I don't think we should have used him in the last play, though, because, with all those people and all that crap. But anyway, yeah, I think, next time the refs pull something off like that, like Autry is still within the vicinity of this area. But the refs, They probably down in New York, stopping by McDonald's, taking a dump at the drive-thru. Man, let's help them with their anti-diarrhea by spitting on their faces next time. These refs are clowns, man. F the refs. Thank you. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, that's that was a call. That happened. All right, Rick. Yeah, so spit on the refs and hope they have diarrhea. Okay, that's that was actually it made a little more sense than last time. So there's there's that. Yeah. Kai, I mean, I don't think that play was necessarily for Cayenne. I think they were trying to get a hand off to JJ. They couldn't get on the ball, and Cayenne, somebody had to come get it and do something. But yeah, just a word of advice. No, please don't spit on the refs. That would be frowned upon. Don't you booing is good. Yeah, don't spit on the. Who are the refs? Let's name the refs. Tommy Morrissey, Justin Porterfield, and Adam Flory were the refs today. Flory was the one that was consistently just dogging it all game long. He was just atrocious. The TV broadcast kept saying they were doing a great job. One of the people on the TV broadcast. Oh yeah, Keon. That was we got to play Cayenne less because of Carmelo and the refs. Just trying to connect the old Dadaroos on that one. Yeah, a lot of non-combustible masonry in the buildings. Yeah, in the dome too. A lot of concrete. I don't know how well it would burn. Oh man. All right, link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. We do still need to name our Wild Birds Big Air player, Wild Birds Unlimited. Not just Wild Bird. The award's not for the birds, it's for the store. The Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Certainly more time for calls today after a devastating loss. A devastating loss. Quadir just hit 2 free throws in a row. Yeah, what's going on in that game? What's going on? Let me, what's up with NC State and Kansas right now? Can we make ourselves feel worse even if NC State beats Kansas? Let me pull up the old looky loo at that one. Where is it? Where is it? New Mexico State. Where the hell are the stats for this game? Kansas. There, NC State. Click. Tied with under 9 minutes to go. What's our guy Quadir doing in this game right now? Quadir Copeland at the moment. NC State hosting Kansas. Syracuse has already lost to Kansas. Q's got 13 points, 5 of 5 at the line. How about that? 4 boards, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers. He's having a very Quadir Copeland kind of games. A very, very Q kind of game. So there we go. And let's calm it down in the chat, Truth Hurts, before we have to start figuring out how the banning works in here. But it's just that's a lot of buttons to click, and who's got the time? So is it a lot of buttons to click? I wonder. What if I click this button? Oh, I can put a user in timeout. What are the options I have here? I can report, I can remove, I can put user from timeout, I can hide user from the channel, or I could go the other way and add as moderator. Wow, I got a lot of power. I have all the power. We'll let it ride for a second and see if anything else stupid happens here going forward. Okay, why is this not letting me click off the thing now? I don't want this up anymore. Go away. Go away. Stop that. Okay. What are you even saying, Truth Hurts? You're making 0 sense. Should we put you in timeout? Well, a five. What's the duration? Do I click 5? Then what happens? This button seems weird. We're learning the moderation live, and it's unfortunately the way I have it now. It's so can I click OK? Do I have like an OK here? What's the deal with this? Okay. So, where were we? Good year. Yeah, Trud. Nate George has. It sounds like he's one of the guys that was sick recently, but he's been terrible. Like he hasn't been sick for a month. I don't think. I'm aware, Kev. He hasn't been sick for a month, and we haven't really seen anything useful out of Nate George since the opening few games of the season. So why did that not put him in timeout? I thought I hit the button. Put user in timeout. Does this not? Do I got to go do it over here? Hang on. We're going over here now. Put user in time. Confirm. Okay. We're going to take a 5-minute. We're going to take a 5-minute break and see if that helps. I did it. I thought I could do it over here in my one thing, and it didn't have an OK button, so I had to go over here. So we've hit the buttons. We're taking a little 5-minute break, and we'll see if that comes back around. Yeah, and Fella Ferda, like, that's why today is so damaging, right? Because if you're Syracuse and you want to thread the needle and make the tournament here, relying on a Tennessee win and let's call it a decent conference season, then what are you going to have to do to make up for day? It is that. You got to go out and beat Duke or Louisville or go into Carolina. Yeah, you watch out, LA Orange. Just old school justice. I got a belt on. We could use that for other things. Yeah, write your name 1,000 times. Like, could Syracuse win one of those games if you get Donnie Freeman back and you have a day where everyone's playing well? I guess. But, like, now you're painting yourself into a corner where it's not could you win one of those games, it's you have to win one of those games. And that's a problem. That is a problem. What's going on in the chat right now? What is going on in the chat right now? There's a lot of, like, what is going on in the chat right now? Oh my God. Like, who even is this? Why do I got to spend all my time? Like, at least I know where the button is now. Let's put user in timeout. Okay, confirm. It's still analytics. Hey, there are a lot of people here. SUB Pitt. God, Pitt's not good. So if anyone is new and you want to come back later, we would appreciate that. Do smash that subscribe button. You know, as the kids say, hit that subscribe button. If you turn the notifications on, even better. Yeah, I haven't had to really mess with the the auto mod stuff yet, JM. We may have to go on and start doing some tweaking in the auto mod area. See what we're at. You know, free speech and all, but we'll work on the mod situation going forward. I just auto modded it, so we'll see if we need to pull any more stuff going on. Okay, Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam. Yeah, do we want to? I finally charged the camera, so we're back in backyard bird action now after failing to have that available for us. Ban everyone. You're all banned, but hit subscribe before you go. We really need the analytics to pull it up. So there we are. It's dark outside. Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. Any thoughts? Anybody? You may think you're subscribed, but you're not. Yeah. Or I think a new one I've been seeing around on different feeds is people are using the analytics. The analytics show me that 108% of you that watch these videos are in fact not subscribed. It's 212% of you that watch these videos that are not subscribed. So you better all slam that subscribe button right now, because I know looking at these numbers, you're all enjoying the content, but 0 people have subscribed. Yes, to our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. James, I'm leaning Kyle. Ban Gavendo. Hashtag ban Gavendo. I am once again leaning William Kyle simply because he was the sheer driving force behind the comeback to at least make it interesting down the stretch. We were sitting there. It was a 10-point game with four and a half minutes to go. They make the shot. They go up 10. So it felt like they hit that shot. It felt game over-ish when that shot goes in. Cayenne comes down, hits like the 15-footer. Then the next possession, they force Cruz to chuck it into the ninth row. And, I think it was a lot of Kyle that then led it after that. You know what T takes. You know, because you like to come talk with me, and you when you come to this post game show, as I like to say, you know exactly who you're going to be talking to. On others, you don't necessarily know who's there that day. You know, you like hanging out in the basement. So you know, we like that, and you know, it's one of these things where I wish they had William Kyle for more than a year. But William Kyle, and the good thing is I just downloaded a bunch of William Kyle pictures the other day because he keeps winning player of the game, and I like to freshen up the thumbnail for the YouTube. So I have some others if I have some other pictures to use for the thumbnail of William Kyle winning the Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. The link flew past in the chat earlier, but go get your Bird 5 metal bird feeder. Still time to pick one up for all the bird lovers in your life for Christmas, or better yet, go visit Matt in person at the location in Fayetteville Town Center or Camillus, and they have other people there. You don't just need Matt to be there. You can talk to any of their fine employees, and they will help you in all of your birding needs. But William Kyle is our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game yet again. Let's give a check here, see if anybody is on the line, if we want to get any more calls in before we call it a show here tonight. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we want to get another call in. Oh, it is a first for this post-game show. You're going to be sad if you've left already. Oh, you're going to be sad if you've left already. Hang on. Let me click some buttons here. Nobody go anywhere. You stay put, everybody. Everybody stay put. Everybody hang on just a second because we have located Pat. What is up, man? How you doing?
Great to see you, man. You know, just a couple quick thoughts for you. The first one is people are wondering about the call. I'll keep it short and sweet. The official on the baseline did not see the foul because Zero Blues back was in his way. He was out of position. The official across the court opposite the table also was way too far towards half court, needed to close down inside the foul line to see it. The best angle was the one we had from that camera. Obviously, these guys are trained professionals, and if they see it, they would have called it, just like a 9-year-old who did see it, knew it was a foul. He didn't see it. He didn't get scared and pass on it. He literally was closed to the play. Big picture stuff about the team. I've been saying all year with Nate George and JJ, you're starting out with two below average shooters, and that's a problem. So now you don't have a shooter at the 5 like some teams do. So now you're looking at the forwards. So really, your 3 best shooters oftentimes are interchanging themselves. I mean, obviously, sometimes Anthony plays the 2. I think with the zone in the second half, I can't believe he didn't put three shooters on the floor. Just terrible coaching, terrible execution. You know, this could be the beginning of the end for Red. I mean, everybody knows you have to make the tournament, or you're going to find an assistant coaching job somewhere. You know, people can feel bad for Red. I do too. But the reality is he's very well compensated for a big time job, and he's just not ready. In my opinion, he's not ready for it.
Yeah, I'd say, unfortunately, Pat, I think we all like Red the human. Like, I've known Red for a long time. He's a good dude. We have not seen a lot of growth on the coaching side of things. It doesn't feel like over 3 years or 2.5 years to this point.
Yeah, I mean, any sport, you can see some teams like last year, there was games we were overmatched.
Yeah.
But you don't give up and you fight. And last year we got smoked in, I think it was 12 games. So that was a big sign right there. He brought in the right guys this year for the most part. I think Nate George is the only one that I believe is underperforming. I really believe that he was one of the best guards in the league, and he's not playing like it.
No.
And then every game it's a different guy who disappears. Last game, Sadiq was nowhere to be found. Every game it's this game it was George. Every game it's somebody else who you need out of your big 5 that disappears. The only guy that doesn't disappear ever is William Kyle. So good job on the player of the game. When you look at Hofstra's numbers, they're 90, I think.
They were around there coming in. It was something like that, if not that close to it. Yeah.
But the reality is, I haven't really studied the league. but Syracuse right now is probably somewhere between, I would say, metrics wise, probably 8 and 11. That's not going to be good enough to get it done. And you don't have a ton of targets. You know, you're going to have to either beat Louisville, Duke, or Carolina to make the tournament. There's just not another big win on. I mean, do you see another path?
No, I think that's what today did here, Pat. Like if you had like there was you could have threaded a needle maybe like if you had won out in non-conference, you've got your Tennessee win, which I think will hang in there, and say you'd gone, I don't know, 11-7 or something in the league like that. Even without one of those wins, you're at least there, like you're hanging around. But now
Right.
you got a bad loss on your resume, because even though Hofstra I think is decent, this is not going to be a metrically good loss. And
It'll be a quad 3.
yeah,
and it'll
it's
stay
going to
a
end
quad
up
3.
being a quad 3 more because it's on your home court. Like, you just can't lose a game like this at home. And now you look at the league, you know, whatever the numbers are, the league is definitely better than last year. Like, you play like this, you're not going to win enough games anyway, is the big issue right now.
That's kind of the way I felt. This team is who they are. I mean, last game was really the first game, you know, besides the second half of Iowa State where I really had a ton of concerns. They really needed that Houston game. And then they really needed to not have the stupid bracket fall to Iowa State, which was terrible because Iowa State was
really
playing like
good.
a team possessed.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're good. I mean, if you had beaten a team better than Hofstra instead of losing to Iowa State, your resume would be a lot better.
Yeah, that's 100%. And again, I still have no idea how the tournament arrived at that game, because that was not any of the things they said they were going to do to create the matchups for the third day of the tournament. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, going forward, like now it's all right. Can you get Donnie back? Because now you got to hope that he gets healthy at some point, because you're going to need a guy like that, right? If you're going to beat one of these big teams, because I don't know, you can't beat a Duke or Carolina, maybe Carolina. It's the right day, but a Duke or a Louisville teams like that without all your horses.
Do you see a lot of time when Freeman and Sadiq are on the floor together? Because I don't.
Probably not. I mean, it's like today, because, you know, we heard Red's presser. Like today, you would have had Donnie in the game operating in the high post on offense against the zone, and hopefully would have done something useful. You know, I think you might. I think realistically what maybe happens is that Donnie starts playing a little more 5 when Kyle's taking a breather instead of Swarry if he gets back.
Yeah, I could
that
see
would
that,
be the
but-
way you
but-
get the two of them on the floor together. Or you go really
But that's
big and
gonna
play
hurt
all
your
3.
defense.
Yeah, but now Kyle has proven to be so invaluable that, like, you have to have him on the floor. So yeah, you'd be picking. You'd be choosing, depending on when. I think. But again, that's if and when Donnie ever comes back. We don't know anything.
Just a tough game for Syracuse to lose. I mean, that was a quick 5-second call. I think it was a makeup call. It didn't seem like 5 seconds really, and obviously he did call timeout. But justice prevailed, and Syracuse got spoon-fed the ball with a chance to win. The official, you know, if it's a 50-50 call, which that one wasn't, and the team losing, you send him to the line. But he didn't see it, so that's the way it is.
That was a rough one. All right, Pat. Always good to hear from you, man.
All right, Brian.
Glad you found us
Yep.
over here. All right, there's our guy, Pat. Always good to hear from Pat in the Q's. A very reasoned Pat today with the officiating talk there. And yeah, maybe the ref was screened out, but to Pat's point, like, hey, ref, like as bad as Syracuse was today, hey, ref, you also need to be in the right place to call the biggest call of the freaking game. Oh man. What Wildhack said, Felaferta, is they need to play meaningful games in March. And he specifically said meaningful games not make the tournament, because they left open, in the way I think we all read it, is leaving open the possibility of having a much better season, getting on the bubble, and missing the tournament and being like, all right, we can give the guy another year. And the season may still end up that way, but I think today is a damaging loss for being able to get there. Today's a damaging loss for being able to get there, because now you have a quad 3 home game non-conference loss. And I'll say, like, Hofstra they're a solid team. Like, Hofstra's a perfectly solid team. The embarrassment, I don't think, is losing to Hofstra. It's just you couldn't, based on everything that's happened, based on what happened in Vegas and not getting those wins, based on, you know, Donnie's been out, based on all the stuff, based on the 2 years previous, based on the 2 years before that with Boeheim, like, this was not a game you could afford when you're looking at the big picture of the season. It's just not the way it really ends up. It's not the way It really bad. So yeah, we're glad. Yeah, we reeled Pat in. We we've been getting him here. Pat will make the rounds of the post-game shows, but we like everyone to take their turn over here. Okay, yeah. You don't think there's any way? Here's the thing, James Hackler, or James Shackler, that I'll look up the George, our guy George in Memphis. The attendance today was announced at I clicked on the wrong box score. I still have the NC State Kansas score up. That is NC State up by 1 under 4 timeout. The attendance was announced at 13,282. The reason the number is so low is because the university is on break, therefore no student season tickets, so that depresses the number. So while the announced attendance was lower than the other night, there was definitely more people there today. Not that, whatever that matters. Anyway, what was I saying? I just totally distracted myself. Yes, meaningful games in March. Here's going to be the problem now for Red if they miss the tournament. It's that just the vibe we've gotten from all of you and seeing out there on social media, and just the vibe we felt after this game, the vibe we felt as it went south throughout the 3 games in Vegas, the vibe is so negative with the losses now that just being close, I don't think is going to leave anybody with a good taste in their mouth at the end of the year. Like, it's hard to see a path this season where you get to the point just miss the tournament and also feel like you're still progressing in the right direction, right? It just doesn't feel like you can have all of those things anymore at this point. Now, maybe Donnie comes back whenever, and when he gets back, you start playing really well, and you're like, oh man, if we had him the whole time, I guess there could be a scenario, but it's getting harder and harder to conceive of a scenario in my mind where the tournament is missed and Red is back as head coach. It's hard to see that. It's hard to see that. I like Red. I would prefer him to succeed. I think it's better for all involved if it succeeds with Red. But right now, it's not. It's not. And yeah, Mike Dombrowski, that is how college sports work right now. Especially with NIL and everything that's tied up in it. If money stops flowing one way or another, then that's another reason you have to make a change. Marginally better than last year, Tronic, they're a lot better than last year. Last year's team was horrible. Last year's team was terrible. They are significantly better than last year. But being significantly better than last year doesn't necessarily mean they're good enough. Now they're back. Now it feels like they've returned to the level of just kind of being maybe if you put this team against the Judah team, that's probably a close game, right? I'd say maybe this team is slightly better. Maybe Judah's the best player. Maybe Judah wins a game like that. I don't know. But last year's team was this team would whoop last year's team butt up and down the court. Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's body of work. Red's problem here is, if you get there and don't make the tournament, it is last year lands. Missing the tournament the year before lands. For Red, because it is a continuity hire, and this wouldn't land for other coaches. For Red, though, the last few years of Boeheim also land, right? That all counts when you're evaluating a coach in his position. That all counts. Last year, so it's not just this year. If they miss the tournament this year, it's 5 years in a row missing the tournament. It's 5 years in a row missing the tournament, and that is not a thing that has happened to Syracuse basketball in basically the history of the tournament. Since the tournament grew to, I don't know, what was it before 64, 48, whatever the stuff. Since the tournament made its jump to 36, whatever it was in the mid-70s, Syracuse had never had a run like this of missing the tournament in consecutive years like this. Never. 2 was the longest streak. 2. And if they miss it this year, it's 5. It's 5. Not many criticized Boeheim's final couple of years. Where were you, JM? Did you see the vibe in the town the last few years there? Oh, man. The players aren't diving. Not enough level 5. We need level 5. They had level 5. Need more level 5. Just, I feel it's amazing how quick the good vibes of that Tennessee game though have gone. I mean, Bruce, Pat Kelsey, their head coach, Devo last game on Color said he was the best coach in the country. Devo really likes Kelsey. And it was telling to hear Devo, like for those of you that watched the game on TV today, Devo was critical of the coaching down the stretch today. And that's something that, he doesn't like having to do that, right? Like he's a Cuse guy as deep as it can go. He does not like having to do that. I enjoyed Devo's moment of self-awareness after the tee on Sadiq, where it's like, well, I'm not the right person to talk on this one. That was funny. That was funny. Oh, man. There's only like 12 teams the longer drought. Is that the case? It's crazy how fast it's going, LA Orange. Can Melo be a caller on the show? He could be. Like, anyone going to give Melo the link? Let it fly? Like, I would accept a call from Melo if you'd like to call in. Is that the number? Laker, 169 and 137 since 17. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Well, yeah, I'd say that's the main problem, right, Anthony? If you're not going to beat Hofstra. But you beat Tennessee. That's the thing that you're like, okay, so they're capable of something, right? But, yeah. What were the free throws today? 9-16. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. All right. Yeah, that's not a good record, Laker. It's not a good record. And yeah, Hofstra, I'd say it's not that Syracuse gave up 12 threes. Like, that can happen in this day and age of basketball. They were 12 of 18. They were 12 of 18. That's a problem. That's a problem. You can't get and 6 of 7 in the second half. Like, that last play, the three that what's his name? Plotnikov hit to give him the lead for good. Like, I thought Sadiq did a great job on Cruz Davis. Then it looked like he had him shut on the baseline, but I think it was Cayenne was the guy defending Plotnikov, just left him open in the corner. And he was wide freaking open 4-3. And yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. All right, let me leave you with the schedule for the upcoming week before we go. Let me look up the schedule for the upcoming week before we go. What do we have? The upcoming week will start on December the 14th. Stay tuned Monday morning. I sneak peeked you guys last post-game show. Monday morning we will officially announce that we're going to start doing some more live midday in-week shows with the start of the calendar new year. We will be live. When will we be live next week? Syracuse and Mercyhurst. There's a banger. Wednesday night at 7. We'll be live after that. That means we'll be moving the TPS report, me and Jordan, to Thursday. And then we have another post-game show, another 4 o'clock tip a week from today. Syracuse and Northeastern. Still 3 more games to go before Christmas. Missing the Plotnikov, and that's the problem. He wasn't missing the Plotnikov. He kept making all of the Plotnikovs. Okay, so there we go. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend. Go wallow in misery of Syracuse losing that game, and we will reconvene during the week. We'll have all of our normal social media stuff and whatnot throughout the week. Our next time live here will be Wednesday evening after Syracuse. God forbid anything else happens after Syracuse beats Mercyhurst. All right, thanks for hanging all. We'll catch up to you next time.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.